Hello, friends. Your old Uncle Andy here, the UC Panda himself, coming to you on Friday, November 22nd. And it's the first video we've made in a couple of weeks. We've been pretty busy. I apologize for that. But we're here now and we have your undivided attention. So we'll go ahead and get right into it. We've had a really good few weeks since we made our last video. And we have been posting all the plays, of course, on Twitter. So if you've been following us, you've been cashing winners. You've had some winning tickets. You've been able to supersize your Big Mac meal. You've been able maybe to afford braces for your kids. You've been able to afford Grey Poupon if you've been following us. We hit a high watermark over the weekend of 113 units of profit this year. That's up almost 30 units since we made our last video a couple of weeks ago. So sort of our system is working out here. We've had a few lucky breaks. We had a particularly lucky break last weekend. It was almost an unlucky break, almost a disaster. We needed Jacksonville State on the juice reducer parlay. Luckily, it came through for us. As Wellington said after the Battle of Waterloo, it was the most near run damn thing you ever saw. And this certainly was. And it was the difference between 40 units of profit and losing 40 units. So we sort of learned our lesson there. We're certainly going to have a juice reducer parlay, but maybe not tie quite so many units into it. I like a lot of the plays as they are, that I don't think we need to tease them around perhaps as much. So right now we stand at 75.94 units, and that's after we've placed all the bets we're going to talk about. So we were at 113 units. We've placed bets throughout the week. Maybe you haven't made a video about it. Like I said, it's all on Twitter, and follow us over there at Uncle Andy Sports, and hopefully you don't jinx us. We've been rolling like a machine lately, and we hope to continue doing just that. Come back and check us out Sunday for NFL plays. Still a lot of things up in the air with weather and injuries, and he might play, he might not play. The quarterback may play. Uh, People on the injury report, so we'll probably wake up Sunday morning bright and early, hopefully with some coins in our pocket on these plays we're going to talk about, and we'll play some more bets. So come back and see us. We do have a juice reducer parlay. Pretty simple. We're going to go deep into the heart of Texas. Texas San Antonio tonight over a terrible, terrible Temple team. Texas tomorrow and Texas State. It's minus 323 to help reduce some of the juice on some of these teasers, and it has an implied probability of winning of 76%. All of these schools are 20-point or so favorites. So this should come in. I don't anticipate any trouble. So let's hope for the best. So we're going to go ahead and take those that teaser we talked about and combine them with all these things as singles. Utah State. I love UConn and the points against Syracuse. This is a weird scheduling spot for Syracuse, and I guess for UConn as well. Syracuse, we're deep in the heart of conference play. We've been in conference play for almost 2 months now, and here UConn has a non-conference game at Syracuse. So I don't think Syracuse is all that interested in this. It doesn't really benefit them to win this game. I don't think they're excited about it. So I'll go ahead and take UConn on the points. I like San Jose State and the points against UNLV. I mean, I don't think UNLV is going to lose the game. I think San Jose State keeps it close enough. San Jose State has covered the last four matchups between these two teams. So we'll go ahead and go with that. I like USC just to win the game. I like Marshall. I like Marshall to win the game. I mean, if you've got an extra unit, if you've got an extra few dollars to throw around, I like Marshall to go into Old Dominion and just win the game straight up. But I certainly like them and the 7 points. I like Washington State and their team total over 29.5. And I do think the Bearcats and Kansas State game will stay under the total. Bearcats pretty decent defense. Kansas State certainly a pretty decent defense. Bearcats have been struggling on offense lately. So too is Kansas State. I like Iowa State and Utah to go over the total. I like Vanderbilt and the points against LSU. LSU's a mess. They've got a horrible culture there. Brian Kelly, I wouldn't be surprised if he was on his way out. I think things are not going well in Baton Rouge. So we'll go ahead and take Vandy and the points. I like Louisiana Lafayette. They've been good to me all year. I'll take them to win the first half in the game. And we also like Louisville. It's a little more scary. But I do like Louisville first half in game against Pitt that has been leaking oil lately. I like Iowa to win the game and the total to go over 40.5. Playing a bad Maryland outfit. I think the Maryland outfit has thrown the towel in. I like North Carolina. and their defense has really turned it around this year. These are same game parlays, I should add. Both this one and the Iowa game are same game parlays, so it's a good little payout. These are single plays, I should add. I forgot to mention that part. I like Ball State in the points. They've been good to me this year. I like Western Kentucky and Liberty to stay under the total. This is a battle for who's going to be at the conference of top of Conference USA. I think it's going to be a defensive struggle. I think you might have some weather in Virginia, so we're going to go ahead and go under with this one. I love James Madison, also keeping the total under. I love, love, love Arkansas State. I'm going to include them on some parlays that I'm playing on my own. I love Arkansas State. I also love Colorado laying the 2.5. I know it's a public play, it's square, and whatever, but I can only go with the trends, the data, and my eyeballs lead me, and that is to back Colorado in this spot. These are my Saturday NHL plays. Most of these aren't even posted yet, but I've looked ahead, and these are the things I'm going to play. You can read them for yourself, like the Wild and Calgary, and Seattle and the Kings. This isn't a parlay, but I'm just trying to fit it on one slide. But I do like unders in this game. I like no goal in the first 10 minutes. That's almost always a plus money payout. Might look at the Grand Slam under. We'll see. The Grand Slam has been, I think, under maybe 3, 4 nights in a row. It has remained under. Goals seem to be harder and harder to come by in the NHL lately. So that's something you should figure into your handicapping. I think the first week of the season or so, first couple of weeks, the average goals per game scored was like 6.5. I track this stuff and I'll show you my spreadsheet here in a moment. And right now that total of 6.5 has sort of bled out. Now we're at like 6.19 goals per game for the NHL. I think it was Wednesday night. There were only 5 games, and of those 5 games, 3 of them were shutouts. One of them a 1-0 shutout. There were only 19 goals scored the whole night among these 5 games. So that's less than 4 goals a game. And of the 19 that were scored, 4 of those were empty net goals scored at the end where the coach was down, the team was losing, and he pulled the goalie at the end. So if it would have been normal 5-on-5, plain old hockey, there would have only been 15 goals scored in uh, 5 games. Now you're looking at 3 goals a game. So goals have been harder and harder to come by in the NHL. It's something you should probably figure in, unless it's the Blue Jackets playing, unless it's maybe Tampa playing, somebody like that. If you see a total over 6.5, that should raise a red flag to you that, I may not want to bet this. So, how do I know all these things? Why would I pick this out of the air? The St. Louis Blues and the New York Islanders have a third period over. Well, I'll show you why. Here's my spreadsheet. I keep one of these for every team. And I think we've gone over this before, but I just wanted to reiterate it. I do know what I'm talking about with NHL, and that's why I come up with these props the way that I do. So this is just one screenshot from part of my spreadsheet that I keep. And so we got the Avalanche here, we got the Blue Jackets, the Blackhawks. Of course, first period over, yes, goal in the first 10 minutes. Who's going to score first? Second, third period over, total goals for and against. So this is a good roadmap to begin figuring out, would it be a good idea to bet an over tonight? In the case of the Blue Jackets and the Avalanche, let's say where they were playing. Well, as you can see for third period overs, these two teams are combined. I won't count them up, but it looks like it's about like 25-9. So that would be a good prop to go ahead and bet. And the 2s and the 1s don't necessarily mean that there were 2 goals scored, there was only 1 goal scored. That's a weighted score that I give. If the period went over 1.5 goals, I give it a weighted score of 2. That's what the green means. If it stayed under the total of 1.5, I give it a weighted score of 1. And then I come up with that rate on the left side of the screen, there in the highlighted yellow box. That's a rate. That's not necessarily a score, except the goals for and the goals against. That's a good raw number that we've sort of averaged out. And so that's why I track this. And that's why you should go ahead and trust me on these things. That's not to say that you should bet your life savings on the Jackets and the Avalanche the next time they play. There's going to be a third period over. Even though this prop is hitting it like a 25-9 clip or whatever it is, that it's still only hitting about, what is that, 70% of the time. So that means 30% of the time it's not hitting. So you need to be responsible, good bankroll management, bet your units like we've always been betting. Don't bet your spleen on any one prop. So, like I said, come back and see us on Sunday morning. We'll get up and post our NFL plays, might even do it sooner. And I hope we all have a good weekend. We're all looking forward to Thanksgiving. For us here, it's going to be a great night. I'm going to go to Jungle Jim's International Market here and fill my growler up. Feeling good about myself. So I want everyone to have a good weekend. And if you tail us to the window, we will cash tickets together. Have a great night, everybody.